Hi there, welcome to my first video tutorial. This Saturday is Valentine's Day, so I thought it would be a great idea to show you a little funky card technique. I have these stickers here. They are kind of reflective and they've got little holographic edges. The thing about this technique is that you could use any kind of stickers that have sort of repeated designs, little small. We're basically going to make a little mosaic and then give it a little funky twist. So to start off with, we're going to make our card itself. And so I've just got this piece of red cardstock and just folding it in half. I'm going to make a sort of a longish, skinny kind of card. So give it a good press down. You might pull out your bone folder and press it nice and tight, and then trim off the excess so it makes your folded card. Pop that aside. So there's my little greeting card ready to go. And now I'm just going to cut some black card that's going to fit on the front. And I like to use my scissors because that's going to give it a little bit of a more irregular edge. And so cutting along like this, so it's a little bit wobbly, that's kind of what I'm after. And as you can see, I've cut it a little bit shorter than the length of the card, so this is going to give me some space to write a little sentiment at the bottom. So now just cutting up the length. And then so that all the edges are a little bit wobbly, I'm cutting the straight edges off. Let's see, let's trim that up a bit neater. So that's going to form the back of my mosaic. Now I'm just going to take my stickers and just basically fill this whole gap. So I'm not really too worried how it fills. There's ones that say true love, got little tiny squares. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to fill my whole space. There's all sorts here. There's hearts, there's little squares, there's some with words. And you could mix and match different stickers as well. The neat thing about this technique is when we come to doing the stitching, it will sort of combine it all together and make the overall design a little bit more cohesive. Okay, we'll have a little overlapping heart. That's all good. Right, so I'm quite happy with how that's looking. All filled up, and the next step is stitching. Okay, so the next stage is stitching around each of these edges here, and this is going to put some black back into the design and also just give it a bit of a more raw, imperfect look. So I'm just doing a straight stitch, and I use my sewing machine a lot. If I can use my sewing machine instead of adhesives, I will. I just like the effect you get from the stitched look. And I'm just following around, and you'll see I'm not especially neat. In fact, oh, that's the look that I'm really going for. So I'm just stitching around the edges. There's a square, cut the thread off, onto the next one. And yep, I'm leaving all of those threads right on there. There's all you dressmakers watching this, I'm going to freak out about now my messy stitching, but really this is the look that I really enjoy. Another thread, into my heart. Okay, so I have now finished stitching all of the little hearts and the squares onto my bit of black, and you can see there's lots of little hairy threads hanging off, which are quite fabulous. They kind of add a little bit of extra interest and depth to the design. And now I'm going to attach it to the front of my card. So I'm just going to sort of hold it in place with a photo split. As I was saying, I like to stitch wherever I can, so I'm just going to tack that, if I can, into place, positioning it towards the top of the card. That holds it nice and still. And now I'm just going to whizzy around the edges with my sewing machine. Again, adding more threads. Just got to try not to let the foot get caught up on the little loose threads that are hanging off. All the way around. Back when I started. So now my whole panel is stitched to the front of the card, and I'm just going to finish it off with a little bit of a little embellishment. So I will get my little pokey awl thing, and here we are, and a bit of foam. Here's a dart, a handy one, and a bit of foam, and I'm just going to poke a hole in the little gap between a couple of the hearts and squares, and that will hold, so just pop that there, and that's just going to hold a little brad in place. So poke that through like that, and then I found this little silver love charm, and I've got a piece of black string. Just snip off a bit of that, and I'm just going to wrap that around the brad like this, tie a little knot, and now thread my little charm through, and just to finish off I'm going to take a black pen, which is my fine tip. Move these little threadies out of the way for a sec, and just hand write Happy Valentine's Day. Right, so there we have it, just a funky little heart using just, you know, your regular little stickers, but just turning it into something a little bit different. Thanks for watching, and I hope you got some ideas from this.